question here has got to be, as this fight, if this fight lasts into the later rounds, how that 11 months off has affected Robbie Sims. If indeed he was a bad boy, then he will pay the price. If he has been off, ring rust is on him, and he has not had a good tune-up fight in order to stand into championship competition with Kalambay. Indeed, the criticism of this fight was, how in the world did he deserve the title fight? And the answer is, I don't know.
The inactivity tied into Sims' alleged drug problems, several months of rehabilitation. Just past the halfway mark of this first round. And there is the counter attempt by Kalambay.
Kalambay, in counter punching, punches much harder than Sims is doing coming in. Sims is rather tentative, trying to find his target, whereas Kalambay is letting it fly. If he connects, this could be over early. Right now, he's about 6 inches short. He has not landed anything convincing on Robbie Sims, who also has not been shining brilliantly on offense, but he's been carrying the fight. In the dressing room, Sims spoke of not giving away this first round. A round that's usually a tentative feeling out round, and with a little bit of effort, you can steal it. Good straight left hand by Robbie Sims. Not that much power behind these punches right now by Sims. Again, I mentioned, he's tentative.
And we're coming up on 10 seconds remaining in this first round. So that is it for this opening round for the
dentist
to earlier today. This is round two. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, southpaw Robbie Sims, and Sumbu Kalambay.
Very flaccid first round, in which I gave to Sims just barely because he led the action and outpunched Kalambay, and Kalambay waited back, waiting for that big punch, which never came. Nice two-handed attack by Sims.
Robbie Sims, his first fight outside the United States. He comes in ranked number 9 by the WBA, making it back into the rankings.
Kalambay looked good, but they missed. They were falling short or on the gloves of Sims.
Halfway through, second round, you heard the brief chant. That for Sumbu Kalambay. Oh, right hand that staggered Kalambay.
Kalambay back on his haunches, and here comes Robbie Sims. It's early in the fight. He's got all his juices. Big punch for Robbie Sims, but Kalambay is off the hook. He's back. Sims cannot afford to get careless now.
Just under a minute remaining. Second round. Marvin Hagler screaming, "Take your time."
Kalambay still flustered and bothered by the left-hand style of Robbie Sims. He just didn't even see that punch coming. It landed flush and almost sent him on his haunches.
Kalambay with the combination. Apologize for the audio problems we had earlier in the second round. And we understand we're back in action. And the action is picked up here on the latter stage of round two. We'll be back here in Ravenna, Italy in a moment. Punch of the bout. Robbie Sims able to land. And Kalambay nearly went down.
As so often happens when you're fighting a left-hander, you just don't expect that to be coming from that section. Of course, what Sims has done now is lost a little bit of the cautious approach, sensing that he can get this guy early. That puts him in position to receive those cannon shots of Kalambay, who is certainly punching with all the force he's got. He's not lighting up. He's not punching in a tentative fashion.
Bertie Kalambay has had his ups and downs against southpaw fighters. He lost earlier in his career to Ayub Kalule, a southpaw. And Pete Harold Graham also goes from the left side.
Robbie Sims has certainly come here to win because he's standing right in front of Kalambay, daring him to punch for punch.
And Kalambay did land with the right hand. Kalambay indicating that he took a shot on the back of the head from Sims.
And he did, because he was moving when it wasn't an intentional shot in the back of the head.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler with instructions for his brother Robbie Sims. It's been low-key to this point. Kalambay beginning to score, finding the range.
That was an excellent over and under shot by Kalambay. Landed flush on the jaw. Another good right hand by Kalambay.
Fans react, but Kalambay did not land on Sims. Beautiful slipping and sliding by Sumbu Kalambay, the WBA middleweight champion.
This crowd now chanting just about every time Kalambay throws anything hard that comes close to Sims.
Sims also finding himself off balance as he follows through.
Kalambay continues to be a difficult man to fight.
Kalambay now with a pretty combination, has that slashing style.
Sims' eyes are beginning to puff up from the power of Kalambay's punches. It's a good round for Sumbu Kalambay.
And that is it for round 3.
Here, as you can see from this corner action, he wound up and threw what almost amounted to a bolo punch. There it was. He threw it again. He liked it, and he took that round decisively. The first round of this fight that Kalambay has taken decisively. In my book, he is behind 29-28, but certainly the tides are shifting.
And this is round 4. Kalambay with some good-looking combinations back in the third round. Also, you get the feeling that Robbie Sims, in that follow-through, dangerously puts himself out of position, off balance on the ropes.
I think he got spoiled by that one good shot that rocked Kalambay, and he decided to gamble it a little bit, and of course, he's paid the price. Then, of course, this 11 months layoff, you can see he's out of balance. He's hitting ropes. He's sliding along. He doesn't have great balance as Robbie Sims. Kalambay capitalizing at every opportunity with hard punches.
And again, you can see the counter-punching style of Sumbu Kalambay. Strong combination by Kalambay.
These punches are landing on Robbie Sims and beginning to take effect. Both eyes are starting to look swollen. He's got swellings under both eyes.
just under a minute remaining in this fourth round. It is scheduled for 12.
Kalambay making Sims miss much more than he had in the first 2 rounds, and returning fire with a great deal of intention to harm.
And again, Sims lost his balance. Kalambay effective with the jab, following with the right. That last punch, the right hand, grazed Sims.
It got him in a little bit of trouble. He fell back into that corner. He's come back fighting, but he doesn't have that steam in his punches.
Brother Marvin Hagler screaming speed, use some speed as we come to the conclusion of round 4. On to round 5. We're at Bruno Benelli Stadium. Bruno Benelli, a one-time Italian boxing promoter. Ravenna, Italy. This is a soccer stadium, the home of the Ravenna Football Club. I asked earlier, Freddie, if they're any good. I was told, Mesa, the Class C, which we should point out comes after A and B.
Yes, I can barely wait for the Don King Stadium to open in Cleveland and the Bob Arum Stadium in Manhattan. I don't think we're going to get that lucky in the United States. In the meantime, in the corner, Sims was told, this guy's trying to steal the rounds by looking pretty on you. And Sims says, I'm punching hard, too. He was instructed to keep his balance, but he has not had good balance through the 4 rounds, which I now have unofficially even 38-38 as Kalambay has come on in the last 2 rounds.
Scoring on the 10-point must system, handled by 3 judges, 2 from Panama, 1 from Denmark. The referee is John Coyle of Great Britain. 3 knockdown rule in effect. There is a mandatory 8, no standing in. Sims with his back toward you. And Sumbu Kalambay defending his WBA middleweight title. Combination by Sims, who took the counter from Kalambay.
That was 6 or 7 good punches by Sims, and then 1 zinging punch by Kalambay that rocked Sims' head back.
Kalambay looking to tee off.
Those punches look like they hurt even when he misses it. He certainly looks fierce when he throws a punch with everything he's got. That's Kalambay. Well, they said this guy was a counter-puncher, and they were not joking. That's exactly what he is. A beautiful counter-puncher. Kalambay just waits for 3 or 4 tippy-tap shots and then lands a meaningful right hand. I'd like to know how the judges score that.
Kalambay continues to counter, with Sims being the aggressor. The chant for Sumbu Kalambay as we come to the end of round 5.
Of Kalambay slipping a punch and then returning with a very hard counter that shook Sims.
And this is round 6. Billy Petronelli telling Robbie Sims between rounds, when you get Kalambay in the corner against the ropes, just bury him.
Rough him up, he said. You got to get this guy away from looking pretty. You got to make him get into a fight. And of course, that's the long suit of Kalambay. That's what he's done to all these previous opponents. He has just befuddled them with good defensive fighting and then picture-perfect, sharp counter-punching.
Robbie Sims in the white with the green stripes. Sumbu Kalambay defending his WBA middleweight crown in the white with the red stripes. Sims, 28 years old, out of Brockton, Massachusetts, looking to make it back on the comeback trail. And Kalambay on the other hand, has been on a roll. Kalambay, 32-year-old.
Don't wait for him, Robbie. Don't wait for him,
now
Robbie.
living in Andover, Italy.
Stop. Stop it. Stop. Stop.
You're hearing the voice of marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Stop. Stop. Come on, stop him. Stop. 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 Stop him, Robbie. Stop him, Robbie. Stop him, Robbie.
Hagler's asking for a knockout, of course, right now. Sims is chasing. He must hear his brother's voice because he did much better while his brother was screaming. But still, nonetheless, Kalambay comes back to neutralize 2 or 3 blows with very sharp counterpunching. He gives ground grudgingly and then punches away. What the Petronellis have been instructing Sims to do is once you get him in close, rough him up. Don't let him get out. Of course, he has not been successful in doing that.
When Robbie Sims was in top competition, top condition, he had good hand speed when he was going well, also had excellent stamina. But at times he's been hurt by lack of concentration and an exposed and vulnerable chin. And he's also lapsed into throwing weak arm punches, something the Petronellis have been trying to correct.
Well, they can't correct this lack of balance he's got. He keeps falling into the ropes when he misses. There goes his legs again. You see his legs are just not in the shape that they were in when he was a younger man and when he was in constant training. So he falls into a clinch. He can't control his legs. He falls into the rope when he misses a punch. That's a very big disadvantage to carry into a ring with a coiled spring like Kalambay.
And Kalambay flicking the jab effectively to set up the right hand. Final seconds, 6th round. We'll be back in a moment.
You win! And you can too! So don't get caught without your Energizer! Oh!
Of balance on the part of Robbie Sims.
There you see it right here. Look how his legs can't be controlled, and he falls into the ropes. That's happened to him every round, but succeedingly, in each succeeding round, he gets worse and worse. And that, of course, is attributable to the pounding he's taken from Kalambay, who just sort of wears you out.
And this is round 7. It is scheduled for 12. Sims has gone 12 rounds once. Kalambay has done it on 5 occasions. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco from Ravenna, Italy.
Sims trying valiantly to mount an attack, but he just doesn't know how to keep Kalambay pinned in that corner, even though he lands 5 or 6 punches. Kalambay is away and leaves a calling card of a hard punch as he leaves. In each of these rounds, Marv, Sims is trying to make it a fight. He's trying to come ahead and take the title, but Kalambay is just a master of defense. You're seeing a man who could really counterpunch, and he's keeping Sims from winning these rounds, and the fight is flying by. Kalambay beginning to win every round.
Kalambay continues to have success with the left jab. Appears to have some problems with the southpaw style in round 1, but not since then.
1 and 2 were Sims rounds, and remember he got that big punch in the second round, which won it for him. But from there on out, while he hasn't totally solved Sims style, certainly Kalambay has had the best of it. Good stiff jab and a right uppercut by Sims.
And again, it is Sims on the attack during the course of this 7th round. Just under 1 minute left in the 7th.
You can't ask more from your fighter. Freddie Petronelli in the corner cannot ask more from Robbie Sims. He's coming forth, he's punching as hard as he can, but just as you just saw, he just gets stopped in his tracks.
Good short right hand landed by Kalambay. And another right hand missed on the combination.
those hard punches Robbie Sims can take. He was not noted for having a big jaw, and these bombs are just bouncing right off of him. He keeps coming back, but he's getting hit harder and harder as these rounds progress.
Now Kalambay scoring with the combination as we come up to the end of round 7. Welcome you back to Ravenna, Italy, a seaside resort in northeastern Italy, located on the Adriatic shore. Marv Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and this is round 8. Sumbu Kalambay defending his WBA middleweight crown against Robbie Sims, and the Fight Doctor scorecard looking very close.
Yes, that last round was an example of a very, very wonderful right hand by Kalambay, lands right on the jaw. Sims comes ahead. That last round I had to give to Sims because of this naked aggression. He just keeps coming and coming and coming. He did get nailed several times, but he's still in there to punch 3, 4, 5 punches. So it's 67-66 unofficially. And of course, if you weren't keeping score, you would have to say Kalambay is winning this fight.
Take it from him. You gotta take it from him.
And again, the words of advice from Sims' brother, Marvin Hagler.
You gotta take it. You gotta take it from him. Come on. You gotta take it from him.
Referee John Coyle has had a very easy evening. These two fighters have not flinched, have gone at it without resting and without any respite.
Robbie Sims comes in at 29-4 and 221 by knockout. His 4 losses, all by decision, to Bobby Ches, Clint Jackson, twice to Mike Tinley, while Kalambay at 43-3, 1 draw, 23 by knockout. And Kalambay, as we have been mentioning, has been on a string of victories, coming off the win over Mike McCallum by a decision. Beat Iran Barkley to win the WBA title, and also won by decision over Harold Graham of Great Britain, and he did it in London.
Kalambay has found a hard, stiff jab, and he's been banging repeated jabs off the forehead of Sims, who just keeps wading in.
Uppercut from Kalambay that got the attention of Sims.
And that's a jaw snapper. That snapped his head right back. He's been throwing those arcing uppercuts the last 3 rounds, but he's missed them. This one landed right where he wanted it, and Sims was still there.
We have had no knockdowns to this point. Sims did land a right hand in the second round that rocked Kalambay, but it has been Kalambay most of the way.
Danko is the perfect weapon.
A Moscow detective.
Danko, you're welcome.
A Chicago cop.
This whole thing's very Russian.
There's only one thing worse than making them mad. A theater near you.
Now at Burger King, get a fun...
Here is Kalambay's uppercut. You won't see a better one all year long. Right on the button, and look at his head go up. It's amazing that Sims stood there and then came back to mount an attack on his own.
And we are underway in round 9. Robbie Sims in the white with the green stripe. Sumbu Kalambay, the champion of the white with the red stripe.
It's been no shortage of offensive effort on the part of Robbie Sims, but it hasn't been enough against the defensive mastery of Kalambay and the sharp counter-punching. And that's been the story of this fight to this moment, with Kalambay unofficially ahead 77-75. Sims showing signs of weariness for the first time. His face is puffing up more and more on those high cheekbones of his. And the discouraging thing for Sims must be to look across and see a guy that's just as fresh in the first round, because Kalambay looks like he's just getting warmed up and enjoying himself.
Talking about a 32-year-old Sumbu Kalambay. Meanwhile, Marvin Hagler continues to say, you got to take it from him, Robbie.
Hagler is standing up yelling, and I don't see anybody behind him saying down in front.
Good combination by Kalambay. Kalambay now painting Sims. Most of the effective punches being landed by Kalambay.
Well, again another great uppercut.
You gotta take it
Either
from him.
Sims has got a much better jaw than anybody gives him credit for, or Kalambay can't punch as much as people thought, because these punches are just landing right where Kalambay wants them.
He ain't gonna give it to you. He ain't gonna give it to you. You gotta take it. You gotta take it.
Get the idea that Marvin Hagler now a bit more on the defensive in his instructions.
Back in there. Back in there. Back in there. Back in there. Come on, back in there. Come on, back in there.
Come on, Robbie, you got him. You got him, Robbie.
That's it. There you go.
And we're final seconds. Round 9. Another strong round for Sumbu Kalambay.
Ooh, nice shot. Kalambay rocked Robbie Sims back on his heels with that hook.
And Kalambay continues to succeed with combinations, slashing combinations. The chant is for Kalambay.
No shortage of desire and heart on the part of Robbie Sims, but he is really getting powdered
Take
on the
it from
way
him,
in.
bro. He ain't gonna give it to you. He ain't gonna give it to you.
Hold him up, Robbie. Hold him up.
He ain't gonna give it to you. He ain't gonna give it to you. He ain't gonna give it to you.
And with Kalambay dominating the action, we come to the end of the 10th round. Point of view from the Petronellis in the corner of Robbie Sims. They're saying, hey, Sumbu Kalambay's going backwards. So there's no way that he can get to you in that manner.
Well, he seems to have disproven Petronelli, unless he wasn't watching this fight for the last 10 rounds, because Kalambay has been good shot by Robbie Sims. Kalambay has been going backwards, and indeed, Kalambay has been able to punch going backwards. He stops and launches those rockets right at the head of Sims. It just seems that Sims cannot solve the problem of the defensive style of Kalambay and his counter-punching ability.
This is round 11, scheduled for 12.
And for those people who thought that Sims would not be able to last till the late rounds, well, he's here, and he's carried most of the offense on his shoulders. So physically, Robbie Sims did not suffer from that 11-month layoff.
He has gone this far only once before. What does the fight doctor scorecard tell us?
Kalambay on a roll, 97-93 now. Quite unofficially, but...
Strong leaping combination by Kalambay.
Punishment is mounting on Robbie Sims. I don't know how much more of this he can take.
Vicious left hand that got in, thrown by Kalambay. And the short right hand scores. These are hard shots being landed by Kalambay.
They can't be any harder and they can't be any more accurate. They're right on the button, and still Robbie Sims comes off as the offensive fighter.
Just under a minute left in the 11th.
We mention again and again the lack of balance on the part of Robbie Sims. Right now, it's because he's getting powdered almost every round, and his reflexes are certainly no longer sharp.
And just got caught on the chin by Kalambay. And again, the combination. Another strong round for the champion, Sumbu Kalambay, as we go to a 12th and final round. And Sims again lost his balance.
Well, half of that was a punch thrown in the air that Kalambay very, very expertly ducked and dodged away from. You see Sims bouncing off all these ropes as he misses punches and loses his balance. Kalambay looking very much like he did in the first round, just bouncing around.
Up on his toes and then with a beautiful spin move, able to connect. Kalambay also wants to be careful. Sims needing the knockout. So Kalambay moving in and out with that jab.
Certainly an interesting prospect would be a fight with Frank Tate, who is a masterful boxer if he can get past none, which is not sure at all. That fight coming up should be a close one and a blazing good fight.
Any possibilities out there in the middleweight ranks? Rematch possibility between Iran Barkley and Thomas Hearns?
Well, you know, I think the middleweights, who have always been so successful and exciting, just are thinned out by having 3 champions. If we only had 1 champion, these guys would all be contenders, and it would be a terrific division when Marvin Hagler held it for so long. All these people were in line waiting to fight Hagler. Now they're champions, and it's diminished the importance of the middleweights. Of course, if Hagler comes back, that would be an interesting dilemma.
And we're coming up on a minute remaining in the bout.
Well, in summary, a valiant effort, gutty performance by an outclassed Robbie Sims, who tried as best he could to solve the defensive mastery of Sumbu Kalambay and has not been able.
Stay on him. Stay on him.
And Sims' brother Marvin Hagler saying stay on him, but a knockout the requirement now for Robbie Sims, making it back from the inactivity, tied in with the alleged drug problem, several months of rehabilitation, while Sumbu Kalambay, at the advanced boxing age of 32, has come on strong in his twilight years of his boxing career. Kalambay coming off the win over Mike McCallum, preceded by victories over Iran Barkley and Harold Graham, and appears to have successfully defended his WBA middleweight crown. That'll do it, and we'll be back with